When you're asleep, they're just getting started. John Romano, Dave Palumbo, After Hours.
It's that time again, everyone. After Hours with John Romano, Gregg Valentino, and myself today. Guys, welcome back to the show. We're still here.
Welcome to you.
We're still going. What are we on, week 4 or 5, John? Something like that?
Yeah, but we had Jimmy the Bull once, and what happened?
It was his birthday appearance.
Remember back in the day of the studio when we used to do the shows in the studio in New York?
Yeah.
And every week, multiple times a week, Jimmy would say, "When are we going live?
Yeah.
When are we going live?"
Now he can't get the guy to all he's got to do is turn his phone on, and he could do it from his truck while he's driving if he really wanted to, right?
Well, it depends on his mood.
Yeah.
He's moody. You know, Jimmy gets crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Could you imagine though getting him on driving the truck and he's on his phone and he's on the LIE and someone cuts him off and he just loses his shit. And we'd have that on tape. That would be so priceless.
I found an old interview, an old video we did. I don't know I can't remember if you were in it, John, or not, but it was, I took Juan Morel and Akeem Williams and a couple other people to McDonald's by my house in Wanto there. And we ate everything on the menu. We tried everything on the menu, and I videotaped the whole thing. It was pretty funny. I think I got to repost it. I forgot a lot that we had back in the day when we started RxMuscle. We never put things on YouTube because YouTube really, you couldn't monetize it. It wasn't a big deal. So we were hosting it on our own site. So now I got to people keep asking me, hey, what happened to that McDonald's video? So I found it. So I got to put it up. It's pretty funny. We did some crazy stuff back in the day. Remember?
I wasn't there that time. I would have remembered.
Yeah,
that.
I think you would have remembered, but that probably was right after you left. It was probably right after you left because it was early 2011.
Yeah.
The biggest question is who paid?
I actually paid. We had advertisers. Greg, we actually had advertisers. But you know who actually was a big supporter of RxMuscle when we first started?
Iron Mag Labs.
No.
ALR.
No, Arthur L. Ray.
Yeah.
Arthur Lee. Yeah, he was a good guy.
He was giving us a lot of money. He was giving us a lot because he wanted to see the website successful, you know?
I like him, man. It's his kidneys, right, that fucked him up, right? Wasn't it kidneys?
Yeah, it had to be more than that because he could have gotten a kidney transplant. I think he had some multiple organ issues, right? Or heart issues, John?
I don't know. I just knew he had that kidney thing going on.
He was a good guy.
He was in kidney failure for years, though.
What's
Dave,
that?
Is that from the Babania, you think, they're taking stuff? Do you think?
Nah, I think it was, he was in jail for 10 years, Greg. You know, you don't get very good health care in jail, so.
No, I hear you, but still, I don't know.
High blood pressure will destroy your kidneys. You know that. They don't give you medication in jail for that stuff.
But you don't think, if he never did anabolics or any of that stuff, would Arthur still be here? Or
Maybe,
what do you think?
Maybe. You know, he had a very rough go in jail, too. I know didn't he say he was raped in jail, when he first got in there, consistently, every day? He was traumatized for a long time. He was beat up a lot. He was a young guy when he went into jail.
And he had a rough time.
He was in a rough prison.
Guys in jail who spend, 5 or more years in jail generally have some health issues when they come out because they just don't take care of you in there, man.
No.
Well, it also depends on who you run with, what you do. Oh, shut up. My friend, forget about it, My friend that you know who I'm talking about. My friend Gary, he's back up. He's done now. He's doing 25 years.
Really?
He's done.
What did you say he's going in for again?
He's going in because that's stupid. I told him, don't fuck around. He did 6 years. He came out and he started selling that goddamn. He was one of the kingpins. When you look at the FBI's chart, he was at the top. He was the main guy bringing in that OxyContin laced with fentanyl.
Oh, really?
Boy, that's
told him. And people die with that shit.
Yeah.
So they're hitting him with some heavy fucking charges. I never knew. All of a sudden I'm texting, he's not answering me. And then I'm messaging him on Facebook. And, dude, that guy, me and him were very close. He would always answer me, never and he's not answering me. So I said, son of a bitch. So I start texting his girlfriend, not answering me, because she was part of it. And then I go, something's wrong. So I just Googled his name, and all of a sudden I see these FBI charts, and he's at the top. Him, and
Really?
then there was a second one. Yeah. Holy shit, man. And then I read the court things, and it says, face 25 years. They wanted to give him 25 years to life because the fentanyl is killing people.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And he was doing that Oxycontin shit. Laced with and when I would talk to him, I would tell him, bro, please, tell me you're not doing anything. Because, you know, he got out of jail. The Turtles fucked him up in jail. You know what I mean? They hurt his spine. He had to go for an operation. You know the Turtles. You know what I'm saying?
No,
like,
who are the Turtles?
The guys who are watching, it's, you know, like when like their SWAT crew that comes in, they what they did to Craig Titus, you know, when they
beat him up?
Yeah.
Yeah, they beat the fuck out of him. The SEALs beat the fuck out of him.
Why would they beat him up? He was a drug dealer.
Yeah, but you know, he got a big mouth and you fuck around, you know what I mean?
Well, what,
Even when I was in accounting,
wasn't Gary an informant for many years too?
Yeah, he was doing stuff like that, yeah, but it don't matter. Listen, I knew this guy, right? And he's a cop, and he's a big-time drug detective. And, you know, he's sitting there, and we all go to diner, me and all my friends, and we meet him there, and he's with his girlfriend, and he's sitting there, and he's talking to this guy, he's laughing, he's hugging him, and he introduces me, Greg, this is, you know, so-and-so, this is Joe, you know what I mean? And we're laughing, and we're talking, the guy's with his girlfriend, now the guy's got to leave, you know, so he hugs my friend, the cop, and the cop kisses him on the cheek. And, hey, listen, I'll call you tomorrow. We'll call tomorrow. And as soon as the guy leaves, he's waving. My friend's waving to him out the window, at the diner. And he turns to me and he goes, that piece of shit's fucked. And I go, what? Wait a minute. You guys are hugging and kissing. He goes, oh, yeah. He goes, he's my informant, my snitch, but he doesn't realize what's coming for him. Like Tuesday, we're taking him down because he's, you know, He's got all this shit on. He goes, we're done with him. We don't need him anymore. Fuck him. He's still waving. You know, he's fucking done. Watch what happens to him. He's going to get like 15, 20 years. And sure enough, you know, so I looked at my friend that's a cop, and I have no respect for that. You know what I mean? I can't.
Of course not, yeah.
I was like, dude, you can't tell me about shit like that, you know, because I was once drunk. I don't want to know any of that shit, bro. That's really fucked up. And basically, that's what they did to Gary. But that was the first time. You know,
so they used him until they didn't need him anymore, and then they put him away.
Dude, when they're done with you, you don't realize. All you know, guys who are informants get off. Craig Titus was also. If you read all that shit about him, supposedly he was a federal informant.
Yep, he was.
But
he
this
was?
guy,
Really? I didn't know that.
My friend was doing shit like undercover drug buys and shit like that from like bad dudes, and he was bringing his girlfriend, and she would go and use the cops' fucking. Like, you know, shit, and she'd be sniffing their money, using their money, and they even told her, yo, we're going to fucking bust her too now. You know what I mean? Like, he was just on a bad track.
He just wanted to be a criminal, that's all. He did not want to reform himself. He liked the criminal.
It was funny, if you knew the other side to him, he's such a good, I love the guy, and he's a good guy, but he had that fucking monkey on his back where he made so much money.
Right.
And you come from like white trash, you make all this money, and now you got millions of dollars, you live in big houses and shit, and you just can't fucking stop doing that. The addiction of drug dealing,
right,
and making that kind of money, it's almost like prostitutes.
Yeah.
You know, what are you gonna do? You're making $300-400 every time a guy, you know, comes in your house. You might make $1,000 a day. And then you're going to go work somewhere, or you have no education. So what are you going to do? You're going to work at Walmart and make $12 an hour when you can suck a dick and a kiss, make $300, right?
No, yeah,
but
it's tough.
That's the problem with the drug deal. Listen, we all did it,
yeah.
You know? I mean, when you make that kind of money, I could be broke and go to, you know, do a little dirty deal. Yeah. I was doing big shit, you know that.
Yeah.
I would make 10 grand and shit like that. You know, I'd have nothing in my pocket, and today I got 10 grand. It was like this. You get addicted to that. Even though I owned a business,
right?
I mean, I was making, you know, this is just cash, fucking beautiful, you know, money. And he could not stop. I told him when he got out of jail, please stop. Don't do anything. No. I don't.
The funny thing is, he did 6 years. You think that would be enough of an incentive, or, you know, a deterrent not to go back, you know?
And that was for steroids, and what they really got him was, I think, money launderer or some shit. I don't know. But now, when you start fucking around with fentanyl, and you know, they show pictures on the internet where a little dot of fentanyl on a penny. They're saying, look, here's a penny. And that little dot right there, that little white dot, that's fentanyl. That much can kill you.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And you think that, they're putting that in OxyContins and selling that shit.
Why are they doing that, Greg? Why are they adding it to the oxys?
I don't know. I don't know why he got. I knew nothing about it. I didn't even know he was doing that. I thought he might have been doing, because all of a sudden he starts driving nice cars again, and he's not really working. He's on, he's the government's bitch because he's got he hurt himself and like in prison and they beat the fuck out of me, had an operation on his back, his legs, and. All of a sudden now he's starting to fucking wear nice clothes. He's driving around in nice cars, and I'm going, dude, are you fucking around? Are you selling that shit again? No, dude. No, I don't want to go back. No way. He swore to me he wasn't selling it, and he was right. He wasn't selling steroids. He upgraded. Now he's selling this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't.
Your best friends will lie to you about that shit. They'll lie to your fucking face.
God.
Good friend of mine. He did 11 years. He got out, and I said, what are you doing? And he goes, oh no, I'm gonna work. I'm gonna, I learned my lesson. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And I see a couple weeks later, he's at a club. I see a picture of him with another guy. He's got a picture of him on his Facebook page, and I go, dude, what are you doing? You look gacked out of your fucking mind at that shot. What are you doing? And he goes, it was just one time. We were just partying. Turns out he's fucking doing heroin. He picked up a heroin habit in the joint, and he fucking couldn't kick it. And he tried. He couldn't kick it on the outside. He's buying heroin. So now, enterprising mind like that, you're not buying heroin. Well, you're going to buy a lot of heroin, scrape yours, and then fucking sell the rest, right? So he does that. They got him with guns, heroin. He's 25 to life now. It was his third strike.
Wow.
So
it's the same thing with my friend. It took him 25 years to life. But you know what? I don't know. He didn't do that. He wasn't taking this shit himself. He was just plain old selling it. You know what I mean?
Which is worse. That's worse.
Right. And I had no idea. I didn't even know. I'm sitting there going, why the fuck is he not answering the phone? Because he would always answer the phone for me. Always. Right. And he's actually a good guy. It's just, he just does stupid
Well, he's
shit.
not that good a guy because he was setting people up, Greg. So, he might have been friends with you.
But how sometimes do you ever have a friend that's an asshole and he's a fucking asshole and you're like, yo, he's an asshole, but I love him. You have to know there's another side to him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like that. Dude, you want to hear it? I got a great story, John, because, you lived in Mexico and everything. I had a friend that used to go to Mexico to get steroids, and I've told this story before, on the internet, but Dave, you'll like this one. So he would go to Mexico, right? This is like a long time ago, like in like 2000 and shit like that. Before shit was really, really, really bad, back like when I was arrested. And he went and he would go there and he would get all this fucking shit. And he would get it like the first day or two he was there, and he would hide it in his suitcase, right? And then every time he would have to go to the bathroom, he would piss right in his suitcase, shit, literally in his suitcase. He would go out, tie one on, and he would vomit, and sometimes he would vomit right on his clothes, and he'd throw it in his suitcase. So when it came time to come back it's a true story. When it came time to come back into New York, when it would go through customs, he told them, listen, I'm just going to let you know right now, I was really sick when I was over there. So, my clothes, everything's really soiled. And they would open his suitcase and go, oh, Christ. And he would smell it. The whole fucking TSA people would be smelling that shit. And he'd be like, oh, no. They put that thing there, because he had him hidden too, but they would pick up the clothes and they were like, Jesus Christ, And he said, it's funny, I'm sorry. And they would never, they were so scared to really rip the suitcase apart because it'd be openly be vomit and shit stain and it would smell so fucking bad that he actually got away with stashing the shit in the fucking suitcase.
How many times can you get away with that, though? That same game. I mean, don't they catch on to it after a while?
No, I'm telling you, he didn't do it 100 times, but he used to do it. He would do that. He would do it like once a year. He'd go over there. And back then, it wasn't like today we got to take off your fucking shoes.
Right,
and, today they wouldn't have given a shit. They probably still go through that. But when they opened it up, the fucking smell and just seeing, Jesus Christ, I'm not touching that shit. And they close it, you know what I mean?
He should have brought you down there. You could have fucking let one load go into that suitcase out of your ass. They never would have opened that thing. They would have smelled it through the suitcase, probably.
He said it stunk through the suitcase. You could smell it coming down the line. Like he said, I warned them. Listen, you could smell it. And they were like, holy shit. And when they'd open it, they were like, close that thing, Jesus Christ, and they were freaking out. But that's how he used to get steroids across, Today they wouldn't give a shit.
What I want to know is who decides, steroids obviously, no one has technically died from steroids specifically, okay? It's not a particularly dangerous item, and there's a good market in them. People bring them in, they sell them, there's a big business in that. Why would you take on something like fentanyl, bath salts, shit that absolutely has so little value in whatever you're doing and such a high propensity for death? Yeah. Why would you take that shit on and market that? Isn't there enough other stuff to sell? I mean,
why?
Who in their right mind would fucking take bath salts?
I'll tell you why. Because birds of a feather flock together. What happens is somebody, right? And these, guys are dirty fucks. You know what I mean? Even when I was selling steroids, I knew guys who were fucking, Special K, New Bane, all that other shit, stuff. And I never got involved with even marijuana, and but when you're around those guys and you have friends, like he gets out of jail, my friend. He goes over and he starts, same fucking guys. You start going near those guys again. And then one guy says, dude, listen, bro, I'm making fucking, dude, I get these fucking Oxycontins, and they got the fentanyl on. Bro, I'm making, look at bro, you start making that cash. Now you're over here, you just got out of jail. You're making nothing. You're sleeping on your mother's couch. You know what I'm saying? And that's how he gets started. It's because it's those fucking dirty, rotten fucks that you fucking, John, we all did very criminal activities. I don't hang out with those guys. I mean, I hang out with the bodybuilders. There's some of the guys, that were involved in that, but everybody's changed. But the gangsters that I knew back then, I don't go near those guys. You know what I'm saying? I try to stay away from that.
That's the element. I'm talking about society as a whole. Why would we, as drug users, want to take bath salts? Why would we want to take fentanyl? Why would we want to take...
It's the same reason, John, people take SARMs as opposed to anabolic steroids, because they're easier to get, I guess,
Well, it's not just that, but I also think that there's a degree of like, you have to be doing something else. You know what I'm saying? In other words, that's why they was called marijuana the gateway drug. And I know people watching this that smoke pot are just fucking they can't stand hearing that shit. Yeah. But nobody says, something, I'm not doing anything. I've never did a drug in my life. I think I want to smoke crack. Yeah, I think, you know what? Or you know what? I think, shit, what's funny? I've never done a drug in my life. I want to start doing heroin.
Yeah.
I mean, who the fuck?
Start at the top.
Right. It's that you start doing something else. It's just like before we were talking about Will Smith being gay, whatever the fuck, right? Before the stuff. I think that what happens is with these fucking celebrities, how like when you hear like a celebrity's gay, what happens is he starts fucking Britney Spears, he fucks fucking Ariana Grande, he's got all these hot fucking girls he's banging. But after a while, it's not, he don't get that high anymore from it. You know what I mean? Like that's why they say, oh, Mick Jagger was banging fucking, what's his name there?
Bowie?
Yeah, David Bowie and shit like that. It's because those guys, it wasn't, believe it or not, I don't believe that they were gay. I just think that they were fucking, it's almost like I need to take things to another level. I think that I want to experiment, I think it's the same thing like with
drugs?
With drugs. I think that you start off with something else, you know what I'm saying? And then you look for other things because now I'm almost bored with just this. I just saw a funny movie, The Professor with Johnny Depp, and there was one scene in there, he's dying. In the movie The Professor, he's dying of terminal cancer. He's only got like weeks to live. and he's trying all these new things. And he's a college professor, and a kid walks into his office. One of his students walked into his office. He said, "Professor, can I ask you a question?" And the professor's at this point in the game, Johnny Depp's like fucked up. He's willing to try whatever. And the kid says to him, "Would you fuck me in the ass?" Oh. And Johnny Depp looks at him and he goes, "Well, are you clean? Did you shower?" And he goes, so then the kid goes to him, "Well, okay, wait a minute. Maybe then I'll give you a blowjob." And Johnny Depp said, "Sure." So he sits back, and the kid comes between his legs, and Johnny Depp stops and goes, "Are we supposed to kiss first, or are you just gonna, you know?" And the kid goes, "No, just sit back." And he sits back, and Johnny Depp goes, "Oh." Like this and again. So what I'm saying is, it's almost like these guys get to that point where, like, you got to see it. It's a movie. The movie's called The Professor.
Yeah.
You got to see it. It gets to the point where, you just want to try, like. You're at this level where things aren't fucking clicking or whatever. Maybe you're fucking smoking weed a lot, and then you're smoking wax, and you're doing other little things. You know, you're popping Oxycontins, and you know, but you still, I don't know. See, you're willing to try a little heroin. Maybe that'll get me over that hump. And I think that's what it is. You know.
But you don't think the prospect of death has any relevance in that decision-making process?
When did a drug ever worry about that, John? Come on, man.
But there's so many drugs you can do that don't kill you.
Yeah.
But they think that they can handle it.
You know?
What about guys that are taking steroids?
You could inject an entire bottle of Nubane.
Yeah.
And it's not going to kill you.
Well, what about guys that are taking steroids that are on kidney dialysis and all kinds of shit like that? I mean, would you fucking... If you're like losing your kidneys, or would you still fuck around with these peptides? And you know, there's somebody that I know that we all know. I'm not gonna say his name on here, but he's an ex-famous pro bodybuilder. You know, he's on kidney dialysis, and he still fucks around with some of that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, you're out of your fucking mind. You're out of your mind. You know what I mean? You're nuts. But they can't. The mindset on these people. I mean, you know.
I don't know, man. That mindset is, to me. There's such an array of shit you can do if you want to get high. Yeah. I mean, an absolute, almost infinite array of shit. And you got to focus on stuff that's absolutely going to kill you.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think people get lost on that, John. I think they like that danger zone. Like, I'll just teeter on the edge of it. You know what I mean?
Like skydiving, right?
Yeah.
I think a little bit of that, and I also think that, you know what it is? If you talk to one of these guys, John, you know, Dave too, you know, they would say to you, yeah, don't worry about it. I know what I'm doing. I got it. I'm under control. I'm aware. And they always say that shit, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They actually believe in their mind that they can handle it, you know, but they can't. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know, I mean, steroids aren't addictive, but there are people who cannot. You know, if you threw them on a desert island, they'd be like, "Oh fuck, what am I gonna do? I'm not gonna get my shot at test." You know what I mean? Dude, you're on a desert island. You know, there's no food, there's no shelter. You're fucked already, and you're worried about taking testosterone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's true.
Have you? It doesn't change the subject, but have you guys watched that Valuetainment channel on YouTube? It's a guy by the name of Patrick Bet David. He's really an entrepreneur guy. He was in the military. He made, you know, then he came out. He made millions, and he has a channel about how to be an entrepreneur. But he has a whole series on former mob guys, you know, hitmen for the Gambinos, and you know, who worked for John Gotti. It's a great. I know you guys like that stuff. Wow, what some great interviews this guy has done.
I belong to a Facebook group that's.
You got to watch it. He has Sammy the Bull Gravano on for almost 3 hours. And you know what?
Really?
Yeah, you won't want to stop watching it. It's so good. I didn't even realize that Sammy the Bull was such a you know, he was a very well respected guy, you know, in the sense that he made a lot of money legitimately, you know, with running unions and construction jobs in Manhattan. And
he was a smart guy, Sammy the Bull.
Yeah,
he's smart, but he was too smart for his own good. I mean, well, he got out of jail after he killed fucking. You know, he admitted to 18 fucking murders, and they think he's done up as like high as 40 or so. You know,
Well, he realized it was either Gotti or him.
Yeah, well, Gotti was going to turn him in. So, but then when he got out, you're right. He started financing these guys selling ecstasy, and he got 18 years for that. I mean, that's
his son was the kingpin.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
His son, it was steroids too. They were selling steroids and ecstasy. His son was.
I don't know if the son got as much time as Sammy the Bull got, though.
Sammy seems to get out of everything.
Well, he did 18 years, John. He didn't get out of anything. he got out of jail eventually.
He did 18 years, but he killed 18 people.
He's out now.
Tight. I mean, but they talk about all the murders. It's crazy. I mean, it's you got to watch these videos. He's got another guy.
Oh, I love that shit.
John Alite. You know who John Alite is? He was like Gotti's Junior's like right hand man there. He killed about God knows how many people.
Wow.
You got to watch these interviews. You'll be.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. I love that shit.
It's good, yeah. Yeah, they're all out now. You know, they're trying to make money for themselves. They write books and stuff like that. But these guys did, serious time, combined 18, 20 years in prison, And they give you every little detail, including like, where, what happened to Jimmy Hoffa and, who killed Kennedy, that kind of thing, They know everything. Yeah. It was all mob related, The mob got rid of Hoffa, the mob got rid of Kennedy. Because the Kennedys turned on them, once they got him elected. It's pretty enlightening, to listen to all this stuff. And this guy is such a great interview. The interesting thing about Patrick Bet-David, though, is he's an Iranian Jew. They immigrated over to the U.S. He joined the military. Then he got out and had made some good connections from his military background, and he made a lot of money. Now he's doing this channel, but he loves bodybuilding. He's a bodybuilder at heart. He was I think he might have competed a few times. He had Dorian Yates on. He had Brandon Curry on. He had Phil Heath on. So he's probably got about 2 or 3 million subscribers to his channel.
Wow.
It's pretty impressive. So I'm going to be interviewing him at the end of the month, right before Christmas. We reached out to him. So
cool.
Yeah, when you watch these interviews, you're going to really like this guy. He's terrific. And he challenges these guys with very challenging questions. He's not afraid to he doesn't throw the old Larry King softball, type of interview at these guys. He actually interviewed, what's his name? I don't know if you know who Ray Dalio is. He's like one of the 25 richest guys in the world. He was Ray Dalio. Yeah, he's like a billionaire. He was arguing, with him and debating him on economics. It was great. Imagine you're that smart. You could debate Ray Dalio, one of the richest guys in the world. You could then get some of the most ruthless mobsters on, challenge them with questions, and then you get Phil Heath on to talk about the Mr. Olympia. Talk about diversified, right?
Is he the Mexican guy, the Ray Dalio, whatever his name is? Is he the Mexican guy that's got that you see sometimes?
No, Ray Dalio was an Italian. I think he was an Italian. He grew up in Long Island, but
okay.
His father was a musician, and he used to caddy at the local golf club for all these rich guys, including Richard Nixon.
Right. And
that's where he made his connections, and he got involved with the stock market, made a lot of money. And he's a billionaire now, but multi-billionaire.
Dude, can you imagine being a caddy at one of those places? Bro, the way they talk when they're playing golf, you probably hear shit like, I murdered that cocksucker, he's buried over there in the fucking hills.
He said Richard Nixon, he caddied for him a few times, never said a word. He was like silent, most of the other guys who talked to him, Nixon wouldn't say anything, Yeah.
Well, you know what they say, even a fish would never get caught if it would just learn to shut its mouth.
Yeah. Well, you know what the interesting thing is, that what they all agreed upon, all these mob guys, is that nowadays it's impossible to be a mobster because there's cameras everywhere. The monitoring stuff is too sophisticated. No mafia guys kill people anymore. They don't whack people. No. You can't get away with it. So it's all drugs and they're trying to run semi-legitimate businesses, at this point.
Oh, yeah, you'd see fucking guy today. They got cameras on the highways.
Yeah.
They could actually see a guy, some guy killed his wife and he had her fucking body in the back of a truck. And as he's going through, on the highway, it shows there's a fucking body underneath under a blanket, under the truck, in the back of a truck. You can't get away with shit today.
No.
It's worse in England, in London.
Really?
There's cameras everywhere.
Is it really?
And in Hong Kong too, they got cameras everywhere. They got that facial recognition software. They know where everybody's going, what they're doing. They actually in China, they not only have that, but they have this banking system where every single transaction is monitored. Every single solitary thing that you do is monitored. And they match it all up to how much you make. If you're making this much and you're spending that much and it doesn't line up, you're going to get a knock on the door.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. They got it. They have that shit down.
Big Brother
You know
is
where that
watching you,
started in
really.
England? You know how that started in England? Dorian Yates had all fucking cameras outside his gym. If you parked in his spot, they would block you in. And he, it's true. Robbie Duran used to tell me, I'd be downstairs and some fucking guy would be freaking out, you know. There was this big black dude. He was freaking out. Who fucking blocked my car in? I'm going to kick their fucking ass. And Dorian comes out and says, it's my car. I blocked you in because you're parked in my spot. And the guy's like, Dorian, if it was anybody else, I'd fucking kill him, but I'm sorry, you know, because he has his own spot. You don't fuck around. It's Dorian Yates' spot, and outside his gym, you got to do every, you know, got to watch. That's what Robbie Duran used to tell me that shit.
London has some of the toughest people in the entire world live in England. You know, I mean, unbelievable. You think the guys are tough here? There's nobody harder than a guy in London.
You know what's funny? Carlin Coker used to always say, think Yiddish, act British. You know what I mean? Meaning Yiddish, you know, meaning Jew. You know, the Jews, you know, think like a Jew, but fight like a Brit. You know, that's what he used to say.
Brits are rough, man. They are tough dudes.
Oh, yeah.
Irish guys are pretty tough, too.
Well, that's Britain. I mean, that's part of Great Britain.
Well, not really. Don't say that. The Irish people will not like to hear that, you know.
I don't care whether they like it or not. Scotland, Ireland, England, they're all part of the same thing.
I agree with John. You know what I tell everybody over here, the Guatemalans? Because my girlfriend's Mexican. So I tell everybody Guatemalan, Mexican, same fucking thing. As a matter of fact, used to be part of Mexico. They broke off. And they look at me like, why? Why do you say? You know, and they go, no Mexican, I'm fucking Guatemalan.
Well,
and I'm like,
it's the same thing with Pakistanis and Indians.
Same shit.
Pakistan and India used to be one thing, and then they split.
Right.
It's the same people.
Sicily and Italy is the same thing. You know, you're Italian or Sicilian. If you're Sicilian, you're not Italian.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, it's the same shit.
Actually, you know what, John, you should do this also. Greg, you should also do it. Ancestry.com has a little thing you could send away. You send your DNA, they send you this little kit, you spit in a bottle, you send it to them, and they run your DNA, and they can actually tell exactly where your DNA is from. So, like, you know, we think we're Italian, but, you know, you might find out that, you know, that there was someone from, you know, Guatemala who came to Italy and knocked up one of your relatives or something like that.
Did you do it?
I did. I haven't got the results back yet, but I will.
You know why I don't? Wait, you know that's all a farce. John, I'm sure you probably would agree with me because you're into that. Listen to me. I know it's all a farce. They do this shit. You know why? Because they want your DNA. They say, you know,
they already got my DNA. They took it in jail.
No, me too. Well, because all three of us were arrested. But what I'm saying is, they do that shit because they want everybody's DNA. You know how many murders they've solved because of that shit?
Yep.
They can tell if your sister did something, you know, it will come up as let's say your sister's not she never went and got like her DNA checked or any of that stuff. But they know, like, a crime that you committed, a crime she committed, your DNA's there, and they say, well, it can't be Dave. He's in Florida. Maybe this happened in North Carolina. Holy shit, he's got a sister in North Carolina. You know, I'm not saying that you do. I'm just using an example. That's how they can tell. They do it all the time.
Why not? They already can watch everything we're doing. You might as well give them all the DNA too. Who cares?
My kids got all their DNA. They're all like, you know, my ex-wife. They're all from Africa. You know, because my kids are part black. You know, their mother is a mulatto. So, but the black side, the African side, could be the Italians.
That's what I'm saying. I want to see. My father's convinced that all the Sicilians got black blood in them. So John has a black relative right down the road.
The Moors were black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't you tell me one of your relatives married someone from Africa?
Yeah. My great, I think 2 times or 3 times, great grandfather married great grandfather on the Sicilian side. He was a merchant marine, a sailor. and the boat broke down off the coast of Africa, and they were there for like 6 months fixing the thing. and during that time, he hooked up with some chick over there, and he knocked her up. And
he brought her back.
The rule was, if you knock up some girl, you got to bring her with you, because they didn't want any strange babies running around Africa. So they brought it. He brought her. He had to marry. He brought her with him, and they had the kid in Sicily. And so I have a grandmother that's great grandmother that's black.
There you go. See,
from Africa.
My kid's grandfather, who was born in the 1800s, he died in the 1960s. He married my ex-wife's mother when he was in his 70s. She was actually an acrobat, a trapeze artist in a Hamburg circus. She met him. She was in World War II and everything. They met him in when a Hamburg circus performed for the American soldiers. He was actually an officer in the Navy, which was rare because back then he was a black officer. But his father, the grandfather's father, was the son of a slave. Was born into slavery.
Wow.
He was born into slavery on a plantation in Georgia. So my kids have slave blood in them.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. You never know where you came from. That's why I'm doing the ancestry. Find out where.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying today.
It's interesting. I think it's beautiful. I love it. It's amazing how interesting it is, because we don't know anything about ourselves. Think about our kids 100, kids, 100, 200 years from now. They'll know everything, because everything's on computers now. So they'll know that they had some crazy great grandfather who was a fucking bodybuilder.
They'll be watching this on vintage YouTube. But wait. Well, I just wait. What the fuck was I just gonna say? I think I.
Think of that. I gotta go. I got a conference.
You got a conference call, right?
So you guys.
No, I got stuff to do too. It's all right. This is after hours. We don't have any rules here. So.
But I'm just gonna bow out. You guys continue.
All right, get lost. We don't need you. Greg and I'll talk.
A lot to say.
You know me. I don't shut the fuck up.
I know. You'll talk all day. I love it.
But somebody's got to make some money around here.
I just want to say one thing about the ancestry thing. This might apply to you, John. You never know. You know what's the funniest fucking thing? You go and you get your fucking DNA checked, and then you find out that you have a fucking kid that's 30 years old living somewhere.
I think that's why Amanda, my wife, wants to do it. She wants to see if I find that I have any illegitimate kids running around.
Hey, you might find out your father. You have a brother somewhere.
That's what she said. She goes, "What if your father had knocked some woman up like 100 years ago? You don't even know." I said, "I guess it's possible." I said, "I don't know." It would be interesting to find out you have a brother or sister, something that you didn't even know about, right?
I'm going to do it, but I'll see you guys next week.
All right. Well, yeah,
right,
you know
John,
what?
have a good one.
It's that time. I got work to do, too. Greg, thank you for joining us. John, thank you for joining us.
Problem.
Once again, guys, hope you enjoyed After Hours. I'm Dave Palumbo for our producer, Tyler Shore, Gregg Valentino, and John Romano. We'll see you next week.
Don't shit in your suitcase if you go to Mexico.
I'll be sure.